ago when we first started the church, I met a family in our children's ministry, a husband and wife, and their elementary school age daughter. And we got to be friends and meal together. I did a couple of funerals for parents and just, not super best friends, but knew them, tracked with them, knew what was going on, see them at church. About 5.5 years ago, she discovers that he's in a relationship with another guy. And it's devastating, of course. And it breaks her heart. And there's just the deceit and all the stuff that goes with those kinds of things. And of course, confusing for their daughter and embarrassing. And it's just a big mess. So she gets an attorney, and to their credit, they asked the attorney to represent their daughter so that however this worked out, it would be best for her. So a single attorney worked this out, and in 6 months, they're divorced. And there's all the shrapnel and all the wounds and all the betrayal and all the confusion and all the, it's all there. You've been through that. You've seen it. You have family members, whatever kind of divorce it is. It's just all there, and it's as painful as it can possibly be. And then some months after the divorce was finalized, he shows up here at our North Point campus with his partner. And she's here. And it was either Easter or Christmas. I can't remember. It was a big Sunday. And she is mad, 3-syllable mad, okay? She is upset. She is, she's like you would feel if it was you or your sister or your daughter. It's like, and she got in his face and she said, look, this is my church. You cause this problem. You go to any church you want to in Atlanta, but you can't come to, this is my church. I need a worship-free, I need a trauma-free zone. And so you go somewhere else. And basically, she kicked him and his partner out of our church. And so they left. Well, as you know, we have lots of churches in the city of Atlanta, and as it turned out, they decided to attend a different one of our churches, and it was the one that was closest to them, so they attended Buckhead Church. And as the story goes, if I remember this right, the very first Sunday they showed up at Buckhead Church was our Strategic Service Sunday. And in Strategic Service Sunday, we spend the entire time recruiting people to volunteer, and I cast a big vision, and we're going to change the world, come help us change the world. And so my friend's partner said, hey, I like this church. I think we should get involved. So on the first Sunday they're there, they go down and sign up to be in strategic service and join a host team, one of our guest services teams. Well, a few weeks go by and I'm checking on her. How's it going? And she said, that's good. And we talked about she kicked them out of the church and how's that going, And she said, well, the good news, I guess, is that they're back in church. I said, oh, great. Where? She said, they're going to Buckhead Church. She said, and then she kind of chuckled. And she said, not only that, they're serving. I said, really? She goes, yeah, they joined a host team. Now, what I knew, and I double-checked with her to make sure I was correct, was the last where we had left off was my friend's partner, and he's a friend now, but back then not so much, my friend's partner was still married. And so I said to her, now, he's still married, right? And she said, yeah, the divorce is taking longer than they expected. It's kind of getting dragged out. So I called my buddy. I said, okay, I know things have been awkward, between us, but look, and I'm glad you're in church. That's a good thing. And I'm glad you're at one of our churches. That's a good thing. But your partner, he's still married. So see, this is just good old-fashioned adultery. Like you're in a sexual relationship with someone else's husband. I've never said that before. But anyway, so I said, so you can't be on a guest services team, okay? You're just living in, this is clear, okay? You can't do this. And he said, I get this. He said, well, and it's funny now, it wasn't funny then. He said, well, he's married, but he's almost divorced, okay? He's almost divorced. They're at the very end. I'm like, you can't be almost divorced, okay? You're married or you're not. As long as he's married, you can't serve on a guest services team. And so I kind of, kicked him off the team. He said, well, my partner, he's going to be really upset about this because he loved the church and he loved the fact that we were going to be able to connect. I said, well, you know what? I'll talk to you. If you guys want to come in, I'll talk to you about this. So they came in to see me. Now, a few weeks ago, during the Ann Rice message, I introduced some of you to a new word. The new word was disputatious, okay? Disputatious. So when they came to see me, the three of us had a disputatious conversation. It was really, really awkward and bad. And to my friend's partner's defense, it's because they showed up at Buckhead Church and they never saw me down there except on a screen. And so he said, how can you kick me off out of a church? You're not even the pastor there. I'm like, well, you're right. So I did what every great leader does. I said, let me give you the name and number of the pastor at Buckhead Church, and you can call him and talk to him about this. All of our churches have different pastors. And so I gave him Jeff Henderson's name, and I called Jeff and said, someone's going to call you. It might be disputatious. And so to their credit, because who's got time for this? They talked to Jeff, and Jeff said, as long, you're married. This is just adultery. You can't serve on a guest services team. And so, understandably, they left the church. And you know what? If I were them and saw the world the way they saw it at the time, I would leave too. Who wants to go to a church that says, oh, we want you to come help us? Oh, you can't help us. So they left the church.
Another big announcement, this time out of Georgia. One of the largest megachurches in the country, North Point Ministries, has just said that it is suspending all in-person worship for the rest of the year. This is a church with 7 locations in and around Atlanta, ministering to more than 30,000 people every Sunday. Joining me right now is the pastor of North Point Church, Pastor Andy Stanley. Pastor, thank you for being here. It does not go unnoticed when a pastor with your reach says that he can't keep his congregation safe. What are you seeing that led you to this decision?
Anna, you understand this. Your viewers understand this. We have to go to the grocery store. We have to go to the drugstore. We have to go to work. We don't have to go to church. So we have chosen to bring church to the people in our community, actually people all over the world. And this is a temporary shutdown, but the church isn't shut down. It's just our Sunday morning services. So this really was about the health of our congregation, but not just our congregation. This was about the health of our entire community.
I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long-suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables.